Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going through the Croatian Eurovision entries. Croatia of course debuted in 1993 and I think have kind of participated almost every year. I'm trying to just glance over all of the songs here and no, I realize now that they actually had a little bit of a break, but it's not like the expected breaks that we usually had like back in the 90s. This is between, I think, 14 and 15, like 2014 and 2015. I see here there's a little gap. But anyway, there are a lot of songs to talk about today, so I'm just going to get right into it because this is going to take a while. And Croatia is kind of not really one of those countries that I really have a great memory of most of their songs from Eurovision. They have a few gems in here, which we will definitely cover. But just the overall feeling I have regarding Croatia is that I'm a little bit disappointed most of the time. And I hope that can change because, you know, they've had some really high, really strong songs in my opinion that I would place pretty high, as you were going to see. I just wish they happened more frequently. But we're going to go through all of them today, and I think we start right here in 1993. I don't really remember all of the titles of these songs, but this is the song that repeats the hook, like the chorus line, "Don't ever cry, don't ever cry, never say goodbye," something like that. This is pretty, it's well put together, it's a very nice just packaging with several singers singing together with a message that really is quite palpable. The only thing here for me personally is that I don't really get that invested into it because I think it moves a bit too slowly. It doesn't have anything to really latch onto. It's a lot of just harmonization, and it becomes more so just focus of harmonization than focus of actually having the song at its core have something to latch onto. It just becomes a lot of focus on the harmonies and such. The message definitely comes across, but I'm just not too invested in it. So I'm gonna put this in solid. I think it's a solid entry. It's a very strong debut as well to just come into the contest with a purpose and with a message. I just can't really attach myself to the song, and I don't think the song is too interesting. I'm usually more of the instrumental, that usually appeals to me more than vocal arrangements and such. I usually kind of really want the instrumental to feature something that I can really latch onto, and I think this one doesn't have that at all, in all honesty. 1994, this is a pretty forgettable one, I'm not gonna lie, but it's well sung. I like the incorporation of the backing choir. It kind of adds some type of just like variation to the song, but it's too slowly moving forward. It doesn't really have a hook that you can actually remember. It doesn't really have a structure that really stands out either. It's just kind of it feels harsh to say, but a little bit of a filler song. I don't really get any type of additional enjoyment from this one. I'm going to put it in I like it, but because I do think there are ideas in here that I quite like. I also like the staging layout. I like how they incorporate, as I said, the backing vocals. And there's also a little bit of playfulness with the rhythm in the chorus. But just the overall package here is not very inspiring for me. And I think the verses are very slow and not very remarkable. So I'll have to put it down here. But then Croatia decided to really wake up, because then we have Nostalgia, which is, you know, just this incredible sense of world building. It really takes you to this magical place of where this song belongs into its own little place, which I just love. I'm liking the vocal style that they have going for them here. It's very, you know, it stands out quite a great deal. And I also like how the instrumental backs up that complete vibe that the vocals take here. I think this is it's a really great entry, but I'm just having the feeling that what it does, it like transcends into a different thing. Now it's really, yeah, it's fantastic. It is. I always remember, like, when I watch the performance and when I listen to the song, I always think like, oh, this is just so great, so great. I have to put it up in fantastic. I really do think it's fantastic. It has to be up there, and it's gonna be up there. Then 1996 comes along. This is another really great one. It's very vocally, very strong, and it's also quite well performed. I really do think that they had a good run here, 95, 96. But I think mostly what is so remarkable about this one is the vocal performance and kind of just the whole, there's like this joyous kind of enjoyable mood that the song has in the back as well. I think it's a really great one. I hold it a bit lower than Nostalgia. I think Nostalgia just has that world building that really takes it to the extra level. But this is another good one, 1996 there. And then something happened. I don't know what happened here. Simply put, this is one of my least favorite songs from the 90s in Eurovision, which is saying quite a lot because the 90s of Eurovision, like the period between 93 and 98 is my favorite Eurovision period. And a lot of the songs I usually always just really, really like from all of these years. But this one is just awful, in my opinion. It's this you know, trend they followed here with girl bands pop thing. But this song has a monotonous hook, really monotonous. It's quite poorly performed as well. The vocals don't really match together. The choreography, it's a bit tacky. Everything just kind of feels off-putting, in my opinion. And I really can't get any type of enjoyment from the song here. I think it's just woeful, and it hurts itself even more that it's just surrounded by these great entries that Croatia really had during the period. Because in 1998... they came with, yeah, a really great one. This is tangible, really atmospheric. I like the progression of it a lot. The chorus is memorable, and I like the whole visualization of it. She's she's a good performer in that sense. She really visualizes the performance here. And I also just think the song has such a lovely flow to it. It's just really pleasant to sit back and listen to and just follow along. Just a really great one, in all honesty. And then 1999 comes along. Maria Magdalena. This is... yeah. I don't think I can put it any lower than that. It's just one of these complete iconic classics of the late 90s in Eurovision. It has the hook that is just really hard-hitting. It has the instrumental to really back it up. And I'm loving the harmonization and how just that kind of creates the whole... it fills out the soundstage so well, and the whole packaging of it becomes so grand and so massive in a sense. Just love everything about it. It's really energetic. It really has its own identity and character to it, and just keeps going and always just kind of overwhelms me with just how well executed everything is here. I really enjoyed this one. It's one of the best songs that I've heard in Eurovision. It has to be. I really do think so. Well done, Croatia, on that one. And in 2000, they continued on a really great record here. This is a really great kind of ballad with a lot of dark undertones, and it kind of has some energy to it. I don't really know if we can consider it to be a ballad, because it just has a little bit of energy. It has the drumming behind it. It has some inspiration from other styles, and it's very dark and moody and mysterious, while also having a pretty memorable hook, I think. And just really well performed, well sung, like the staging concept of it. Everything is just really great. I really have to say, there's really no other way I can describe my feelings about this song. So, as we can see, Croatia really in a good period here. It's just 97 that really just shoots it down for me here. But all good things must come to an end. And 2001, Strings of My Heart, I believe this song was called, it's just not for me. I can't get into it. I like the incorporation of string instruments and really how they build the song around that. It's really admirable how they do it. I just don't think the whole execution of it is anything to really write home about. It's quite just, I wouldn't say unpleasant, but that's really the feeling that I get when I listen to it. I don't think the hook is very appealing at all. I think the incorporation of the strings is done in such kind of a minimalistic manner that it mostly just becomes like a tacky thing that, look at us, we're throwing in strings here, rather than actually building the song around it and really incorporating it, like allowing the strings to really shine in this song, because I think it still just sounds and comes across as a pretty normal pop song in all senses. And the hook is quite underwhelming in my opinion. I just don't get anything out of this, and it's a shame because I think the concept and the idea is there for something to really just stand out about this one. But it's not for me. It's not executed well enough for me personally. And in 2002, I don't know what this song is called, but it has a really annoying hook in my opinion. I think it's quite monotonous. I don't really get, like, there's supposed to be some kind of attitude in the music, but I just don't attach myself to it at all. It's really uninteresting to me. I never set out to listen to this song or watch the performance. I really don't, because I just don't get anything out of it. I think the performance is a bit off. I just don't really enjoy watching it. It's done with an approach that just doesn't work for me. And the song, as I said, I kind of think the hook is quite annoying. And yeah, just I have a hard time just kind of expanding on that. I don't really have a passionate interest for this song whatsoever because I just don't like it when I listen to it. And sometimes it can just be like that. I don't think I need to expand more on it, to be honest. In 2003, they went with this kind of modern pop with sass and attitude approach, and I actually think it's really great. This is just one of these classic memories I have from Eurovision, just this performance with that hook. The hook is one of these that really just sticks in my head, and I also like how the instrumental backs it up. It's done with such attitude and also done like with such playfulness in the instrumental, like the guitar work in it, and just this kind of digital beat that really just works with it. It's really addictive, I think. And then you also throw in like the choreography on stage, the layout. I just like everything about it. I get it that it's not like the most well-written pop song of all time or anything like that, but I just get so much enjoyment out of it. So I really enjoy it. I think it's a really great one. And 2004, You Are the Only One. This is a very pretty ballad. I think it moves quite well. It's a bit slow at times, but I just think the whole like presentation of it and when it actually reaches the choruses, it just kind of clicks and I really just enjoy it. I think it's really great, but it's not really, it's probably the weakest effort out of these right here, but I still think it's more than just solid. I really get a lot of enjoyment out of this one, and I think it's very pretty and very well staged and incredibly well performed as well in a sense. It just has that whole visual aspect as well of just a really great ballad and a really great performance. So I'll have to put it up here. And then, yeah, like Croatia started really going into a very good period here. 2005, Vukovi Umirosami. This is one of, if I can be completely honest with my opinion here, this is one of the most hidden gems of Eurovision, all time, all categories. And you're gonna be shocked now, maybe. I don't know how well you know me, but this is among the greatest songs I've heard in Eurovision. Wow, wow, wow. Like kind of like with Nostalgia, but in a completely different way, the world building here. It sets the tone right from the beginning. It's such a dramatic opening that really just hooks you. And then the verses are so minimalistic and restrained, but still has that tribal tone in the percussion with this a bit whispery type of vocal approach. And you just have him central on stage, and he's really, you know, charismatic and really drags you into the performance that's going on. And the chorus comes in with such explosive explosive percussive impact when the drumming really joins in. And the hook kind of becomes uplifting, and it's really quite charming. And the incorporation then of the backing vocals really working with it. It's like a collective real presentation during the choruses before it goes back into the verses, which are really just this restrained and unique tone to them. I just think the whole journey that you're being taken on as a listener here, and as an audience as well, as a viewer, like an observer of the performance, it's one of these just journeys that really take you from place to place, because then you have, after the second chorus, there's this section with a lot of drama, a lot of hectic approach in it, and a lot of intensity, with chanting backing vocals leading into like the chorus again, but with a completely different approach where the drumming is what really drives it forward and all the other instruments are being cut out. It's so cleverly written. I think that's the main thing about it. And just its own identity. That's what I really latch onto here. I think the chorus is memorable, but I think the whole presentation of the song is what really hits me the most. I love the packaging of it, and I love just the structure and how it flows with a purpose throughout the whole thing. It has to be up and among the greatest. I understand if that's a bit of a controversial opinion, because I don't see this song being talked enough about, in all honesty, but I just get so much out of it. So I have to put it up here. And then Moja Stikla comes around. It's continuing to be a great period for Croatia. So much energy, so much enjoyment in this one. Love watching the performance mainly. The song has very charming ideas and a very catchy tone to it, but when you see it, that's when it really just clicks, I think. And I get so much enjoyment out of it, how the backing vocalists are incorporated, and how incredible she is in the center of everything. She has so much personality on stage, such charisma, just a great, great performance to watch, all times. Yeah, again, all good things must come to an end, because 2007 is unfortunately the song that lacks the most identity, I think. Like, we've had so many outstanding songs now in a long period, I think. And then this one comes around, and it's probably one of the more forgettable songs that really happened during the 2000s here. I think it's just not for me. It's not, it's, you know, I've never really set out to listen to this way too many times. I've heard it a few times, but I just never go out of my way and think that, oh, I should listen to this one again. Would never happen. I like the concept of it, like how it's a duet and the band is incorporated. There are some good ideas in the instrumental. It has its own tone, but it doesn't have anything to latch onto. I really think that's the major setback here. And even though there might be some nice songwriting ideas in here or something that you can latch onto, I simply can't. There's nothing for me that really interests me, which is a shame. So it's just not for me. And then 2008 comes along. It's charming, isn't it? It's so odd and just really weird. But it also has so much charm. I like the instrumental approach they really have. It's this classical, mysterious, really atmosphere that they're establishing. And I really do think... I don't know where to put it. I think it's solid. It's not very perfectly executed. I think like the final section of the song is just so tacky and kind of odd in too many ways that I just don't really latch onto it. But I love no, you know what? We're gonna put it in really great. I just love the setting of it. The atmosphere of this song is what really sets it apart. And just the incorporation of how this old man is being incorporated into it as well. It really adds so much character to it. And I also think like the staging layout is actually really, really pleasant with the gramophones and the circling and the still, what do you call it, like the mannequin poses, I guess, from the backing dancer as well. It's just, it's charming. It really is. I think it's a really great entry, but it's towards the lower tier of this one, I think. But I get so much enjoyment out of it. I think there's a lot of charm to it. And then Lijepa Tena or something like that comes along. This is a solid Balkan ballad. I think it's pretty strong, but I don't really think I can put it next to these up here, because even though I think it has some great ideas in there, the instrumentation is good, the melody of the chorus is memorable, and it's well performed, I just don't think it really goes that extra mile and really leaves an imprint on me personally. I tend to, maybe a bit more than I really want to, forget about this song. Which is a shame, but I still really, I think it's enjoyable enough, and I would never skip it if it comes on, and I would listen to it and just enjoy it for what it is, but I don't think it has that real impact that a lot of other Balkan ballads have. And I think the same thing kind of goes for Lako je sve here in 2010, which I'm still a bit surprised to this day that they missed out with, because I think it's a pretty Balkan ballad. It's very visually striking as well, with with these three girls on stage together and how they work together and work as well vocally together, not only like performance-wise, but also vocally together. It's very just kind of fulfilling in a sense, I think. It's well performed, it's well written as well, I think. Maybe it just doesn't have that complete impact that a lot of other Balkan ballads has, and maybe that's why they missed out. But I think it really sets itself in the same category as the 2009 effort. I think they're quite on par with each other It's pretty, it's nice for the 3 minutes, but maybe not enough of an impact is being left on the audience when it's over. Oh, and then what happened, Croatia? Yeah, this is... I think everyone already knows, like if you've watched my channel before and you know a little bit about my previous videos and stuff, like this, I would go as far, I might actually even confirm it right here and right now, that this is my least favorite song of Eurovision all time. Is that exaggerating? I don't even think it is. This is the most just mind-numbingly awful piece of music that I've heard. I hate the instrumental, like, a lot. It's this kind of club-inspired digital beat, but then at the same time you've incorporated a really weird sound design, a lot of odd choices within its instrumentation. It kind of just becomes obnoxious to listen to the backing track, and it's not helped by the chorus being incredibly monotonous and dragged out, and with an awful melody, in all honesty. I really do think so. And poorly performed on stage as well. I just don't get nothing out of this. I hate it. And I don't think I've used that word on my channel ever before, the word hate, but I really do hate this. I think it's everything that I don't want a song to be has been put into one song and sent to Eurovision here. The less I say about this from now on, the better, because no, we're not going to waste any more time of it. Nebo comes after, 2012. I like this one. It has some good qualities in there, but it does not leave an impression on me at all. Like the one thing that I really remember about the song is these clocks that kind of hid in the background during the chorus. But I think the overall package of the song, and like when you have the song for its full runtime of 3 minutes, there's just not enough to really leave an impression on me, which is a shame, because I do think cool ideas being thrown here in the chorus. The hook is somewhat memorable as well. And it's not poorly performed at all. It's just that it doesn't click with me as an audience. And it's a shame. We'll have to put it down here. And then in 2013, it's this bit classical approach with the 6 men singing some kind of classical type of vocal. Yeah, it's not for me. I get what they're going for here. It really stands out. It really does. But I just can't really latch on to it, in all honesty. It's too much, it's not my type of music, and I just don't get any enjoyment of it. I always forget about this song exists, unfortunately. I like the layout on stage, I guess. I like how they're dressed, but just, no. There's not enough here for me to really just move this up a tier or anything. I just don't think it's for me. And 2016 comes along, Lighthouse. This is a pretty polished song, I think. The production quality of it is pretty good. The style they're going for was very contemporary at the time. Can't really say much positives about the performance. I think this is an I like it, but because I just think the performance hindered every type of potential that this song really had. Vocally not super convincing, kind of really off-putting with the clothing choices they've gone for here. And I just don't really get the whole overhauling impact that I think the studio cut really has. Because in the studio cut you kind of have a feeling of a mysterious atmosphere and a pretty hard-hitting chorus, especially towards the end. But I get none of that when I see it performed, which is a massive shame, so I'll have to put it down here. God. Jacques Hudek singing his duet with himself. The last time Croatia made the final. No, this is not for me. I get that there's some charm to it. I get that it's a funny thing, but it's just so absurd at the same time, isn't it? I don't know. It doesn't work for me. I think it's funny, and I don't think a song should maybe be funny when it... it doesn't seem like his intention is for it to be funny, but that's all I really feel about it. Does that make me horrible? I don't know. But it's vocally impressive, of course it is. But I think they've really overdone the, like, how tacky and wacky it should be and just relied on that. The song that they have here is not my thing at all. I think it's quite out of date back in 2017 even, you know, it's just doesn't have anything that really works for me. I don't know. Has to be down here. And then in 2018, this should have this should have been in the final, maybe. I don't remember. Was this in the first semi? It's you know, the bloodbath semi. Maybe it shouldn't have been in the final then. But Crazy is a good song. It's very well performed. I just like everything about it. I really like the production quality of it. Like when you listen to it in the studio cut, I think there are so many cool ideas, and it's very dynamic, and the distinct percussion adds a lot to it. Maybe it loses all of that kind of when you see it live, because you don't have the whole sound experience. You more get a visual experience when you watch performances. And I think maybe the staging was a bit like empty and not really that convincing in that sense. Even though she's very good on stage, it just doesn't reach all the way there. So I think it's just solid, because I wouldn't really go out of my way to just watch the performance. I wouldn't skip it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to watch the performance. But maybe I would go out of my way to just listen to it in a studio cut with my headphones. But yeah, solid enough. It's a pretty strong song, but I don't think it's really great. And then we have The Dream, which I think it was very well performed by Rocco. He's a really great vocalist. But most of the other aspects about this is not really my thing. I'm tempted to put it up here because I like him and I like how he performs it. And I also think the chorus has, you know, kind of this elevation to it that is actually quite enjoyable. And it really sets the dramatic tone for itself. But then most things just kind of fall flat when you have the whole presentation of it and the whole packaging of it. I think the wings kind of look ridiculous. The staging was not my thing at all. Yeah, I think it can fit in here. I like aspects of it, but I think the overall presentation and the overall just thing that they've submitted here is not really working for me. And then in 2020, of course, they couldn't send this one. I can't pronounce the title. It's something like Givlivietre or something. I don't know, but it's a solid effort. I like this approach that they have here. It really has its own identity, I think. It's very well sung. It's very well performed with the backing vocalists as well. And also I like the staging layout that they had in their national final. Of course, we never got to see it in Eurovision, so it's difficult to tell. But I think the chorus also has that kind of nice rhythm to it that just really establishes itself on the hook. Maybe lacks a little bit of power, I think, production-wise, but that could have always been fixed, or maybe you wouldn't really recognize it when you see it in Eurovision. I think it's a solid effort, not much more, not much less. Then TikTok. This is also a solid effort in my opinion. It's closer towards the really great tier. I really do think so. I think it's really well performed, and I like the creativity and the playfulness of the song that's here. I think it's really upbeat, it's really energetic and catchy, and I'm liking these incorporations of like, what do you say, like additional instruments that just kind of appear here and there. There are a lot of elements to this song that are really just enjoyable, with the horns being thrown in to add a distinct rhythm, and also just kind of the whole explosiveness of the track. I think the sound design is really great here. Sorry, it's actually quite close to the really great tier, I think. No, I'll keep it on solid, but you just know where I am between this one. I think it's quite close to the really great tier. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and I think it's a really well-produced song as well. Solid enough. And then 2022 came along. This is just not for me. It's not interesting enough. It never really clicked with me. I do like the concept of, you know, acoustic finger-picking guitar-driven songs, but the song never really gets going for me. I think it's too reliant on just being a pleasant listening experience in the background. And then when everything kind of just surfaced for me to know that the song isn't really supposed to be a pleasant listening experience, it actually tackles a pretty serious topic. And it tries to be, you know, the presentation of the purpose of the song is just completely mismatched, and that just kind of drags it down a little bit for me further. So I just have to say that it's not for me. And it's going to belong down there, with next to Jacques, which is an odd, just an odd visual image to see Jacques next to this. But yeah, this is my list of Croatian songs. Happy to see that I've actually placed 2 songs up in this top tier. Maybe I underestimated Croatia when I started this video and said that I wasn't really a big fan, because there's a lot of great stuff here. more so than I expected when I started making this. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Do tell me what you would change in my list in the comments if there's anything like that stands out for you. You don't have to tell me every little placement you would change. But yeah, I look forward to reading about that. Hope to see you in the next video. I think Cyprus should be up next, so hope to see you in that one. Take care of yourselves until then, and bye-bye.